Welcome to another episode of Going Over. I am your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, promoter, 43-year-old professional wrestler, Zach Primetime Reeb, and I am joined alongside my podcast partner, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. It's late tonight, Paul. We just got off a podcast, somebody else's podcast. I just want to give a quick shout out before I turn it over to you, Randy Hochderfer. I hope I got his name right. Thanks for having us on the Rand Diesel 300 podcast. I believe it was his third episode. And Randy, thank you for having us. Cool dude. Films a lot of matches for a lot of promotions, and he had us on there. And he let us bounce off his subscriptions. Hopefully we see some more listeners from that, and hopefully the listeners that listen to us can bounce over to Rand Diesel 300's podcast. There's a big breathtaking introduction with the Wrecking Ball. Paul, how you doing once again tonight?
Doing good, man. Sorry, I know it's your pet peeve that someone starts recording and they're eating. So sorry about that. I just I had to. We just. I think I'm gonna change. I'm gonna start changing my name to Broadway. Paul Isadora.
Broadway
As
Paul.
I just keep going an hour, man. I don't know what it is, but we go on this guy's podcast and he's been doing 20 minutes, 30 minutes, stuff like that. And all of a sudden we're 55 minutes in and you're giving him the go home cue. You're waving the pencil. You're like, you're taking the you're taking the glasses off. You're doing all the common things where someone's trying to tell you to go home and trying to get the guy to wrap it up. So so I think I might just change my name. Instead of Big Paul on here, it's just going to say Broadway.
The Ric Flair of podcasts right here. The nature boy, Paul Isadora.
That's it. Yeah. So
getting her done.
Yeah, man. I think it was a great opportunity. I kind of told him, like, let's try to cross pollinate, if you will. Try to get some people that watch our stuff to start watching his, and vice versa. And we talked to him about what he does at these independent wrestling shows, and and I mentioned to him about how it's an opportunity for guys to have their stuff online and get an opportunity to shoot it over to a promoter and say, hey, I just, this is my most recent match. And I think that leads right in to the topic that I wanted to talk about tonight. And that's, how do you go about getting booked? Hey, I see Prospects is coming up the first and third Friday of every month. Like, if I'm a young wrestler, what do I need to do to get booked on those shows?
Well, there's a couple things. Nobody, whether it's a regular job or whether it's professional wrestling, nobody gets anywhere without knowing somebody first off. You know what I mean? Like, even if you get the job and you don't know anybody, it's that connection that you make along the way that gets to know somebody, whether it's the general manager, the owner, the promoter, whatever, the booker, whoever the guy is, they eventually are going to have to take a liking to you to get that. So I think in some cases with prospects, it's that camaraderie, and that we know most of these promoters. We know the guys from these promotions. They're looking to get their guys work just as much as we're looking to get our guys work. So there's that aspect of it. Josh Catton from and Justin Catton from Next Level. Those guys, Tony Vargas and they're going to reach out and they're going to tell us who's ready. Samurai and Scoot from SPW. Ugly from the Ugly Dojo. Here, there. They're going to reach out and they're going to say, hey, I got these guys. I got these kids. And we're going to reach out to and say, who do you got? Do you got any talent? So that's one way that we're going to talk about today. Another way and I just had this situation with somebody, was when I asked you to send me a match, if somebody just sends me a good 5-minute match at a promotion where they're just 5 minutes and they're the guy getting beat up, I'm more likely to book that guy because now I can see how he moves around the ring. Now I can see how he sells. I want to watch your match bell to bell. I want to see a good guy. I want to see the villain. And I want to see a decisive finish. I don't want to see no brawling on the floor. I don't want to see no weapons used, foreign objects. I don't want to see any uh schmaz finishes or run-ins or DQs or I just want to see what you can do. I don't care about what big moves you can do. I just want to know that you can work. And so we talk about these good things, and I'm going to go back and I want you to hit on these too, but I want to drift this show into examples of that. So let's start with the 8x10. Can I please get a photo of you with your not a cutoff t-shirt on, and just a professional taken photo, whether it's a headshot, whether it's a waist upper, or whether it's a full body. Can I just get a good photo of you, something that I could use on a match graphic, something I could use on a poster if I needed to? Please, just it's really simple what I'm looking for. You either the good and the bad. Do I know somebody and word of mouth, or did you send me something that I'm not just going to look at and go and throw the shit in the can, or just let it sit in my inbox or on my messenger?
Absolutely. And I think I'm kind of on the same page as that. I'm gonna give you an example of something that got sent to me, and you tell me, is this something that you would you laugh at? Would you um, would you go, yeah, you know what, this is exactly what I'm looking for? So I had this tag team that hit me up, and they were from Wisconsin, right? And they go, hey, we're looking to come out that way. Expand our horizons. And I feel like this is the template, right? That I hear from everybody that wants to come work, right? Hey, looking to come out. I've worked a whole bunch where I'm at. I'm looking to kind of expand my horizons. And I feel like this is very much I see Samurai do this all the time, right? Hey, I sent out this many emails to this many states and this many promoters. And I think that's admirable and things like that. But so these guys, they reached out. They sent me promo photos. They sent me a couple matches. They sent me a resume, which gave me who they were, real name, who they trained with, where they trained, some promotions that they worked, um, things like that. Shoot height, shoot weight. Um, I think things like that. I don't know if there's anything else on there, but essentially a resume, a photo, and a couple matches. So if somebody sends that to you, um, is that something that you go, hey, that's great? Do you go, that's too much? Do you go, stop marking out for yourself? Like, how do you take something like that?
Send me a photo. Tell me where you're wrestling at, height, weight. I don't give a fuck who you're trained by. I'm being serious when I say that. Like, I mean, I get that you say obviously who your trainer is, but I don't need your resume, man. I don't need to scan through that long list and read your mark out list of who you've worked, where you've worked. I'm gonna be able to tell in the first 30 seconds to a minute when the bell rings. I don't need to watch your entrance. I don't need to watch anything else. I just give me a match. Let me see your picture, what you look like. How tall are you? Oh shit, this guy's 6'8". He's a big guy, Cool. I want to know your height and weight. I want to know, I want to see your picture, and then let me hit the play button on your match. And and I'm gonna know right away, like, oh God, there's entrances in this. Now I gotta fast forward through the entrance because That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see, can this guy waltz around the ring? Is he got a good lockup? Is he, can he sell? You know, how does he bump? I'm just looking for a couple simple things. You know, is he got a good headlock takeover? Do they? How is their chain wrestling look? Do they register? Are they trying to tell us? Like, I don't need to watch too long in to go, hey, cool. This guy understood when he sent me that. If you're going to send me something telling me you're from Florida and you're trying to expand your horizons and I don't know who you are, shit, there's local people that I don't think are going to draw me any money or draw anything for anybody. So if you're going to tell me you're from out of state, I want to know, are you driving? Are you going to be around the area? Or you've sent me some stuff. You want me to fly you in to wrestle on my show? Why would I fly you in? Why would I waste money to fly somebody in that I don't know, nobody here knows, and a lot of people obviously don't know if you're trying to expand your horizons? So that's what I'm looking at. If you send me something that's too long, I'm not going to look at it. So if you take, I know you probably copy and pasted that shit, but if you're going to send me all the talent that you've worked and all the promotions you've worked at, make your resume simple, guys. Height, weight, where are you coming from? Go ahead and slap your trainer in school on there if you'd like. Send me a nice photo. Like I said, headshot, waist up, full body, and then give me a match bell to bell that's around 5 to 7 minutes. I don't want to see. I don't want to see anything longer than that. I don't want to see your entrance. I don't want to see gimmick matches. I don't want. I don't want to know if you had the best last man standing match and you're sending that to me, or a falls counting. I don't care. I just want to see how you move around for a little bit at the start of the match, and we'll figure something else out along the way. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, so that the example that I gave you um, was exactly what I would like, right? Um, I'll make one addition to that, right? I don't mind the resume, but I don't like you started saying, oh, all the people that you've wrestled and blah blah blah. That gives me the indication this resume is going to be multiple pages, right? I was kind of told, different times, like going to Harley race, dark match or extra work with WWE, things like that. Talking to different people, going to OVW, Impact, things like that. The things that you should have, right? Give me like this is if I saw you in person. Give me your 8x10 with your resume on the back, right? That way I don't have to go, hey, who the fuck is this guy that I have a picture of? You know, um, it's I've got a picture of this guy. I've got all of his stuff on the back, right? It's all one page. Just like I would tell someone if you're applying for a job, you're going to send a resume, keep it at one page, right? I don't want a bunch of paperwork in my lap, things like that. But so they send me the resume with their trainer on it, where they trained, um, whatever, a couple promotions, and 8x10 and a couple matches, right? So I just happen to know the person that they were trained by. Um, which to me was like, okay, I know that guy, and he would have trained these guys right. So with that knowledge, I take that knowledge going and watching um, their match, and that just kind of confirms, yeah, you were trained by this guy. This is trained well. And then you mentioned, are you just coming to the West Coast? Are you looking for me to try to fly you somewhere? What are you looking for, right? I think having the right expectations, right? So I always kind of use this rule of thumb, right? If somebody is soliciting me to work on my show, and I have no idea who they are, um, then I'm just gonna tell them straight up, like, hey, listen, if you want to fly yourself or if you want to drive here, and I like their work, if I like what I saw in the video, then I'm all for it, right? Get yourself here. I'll get a spot for you, and then on top of that, I'm gonna do the things that I would like someone to do for me. I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to reach out to Ugly. I'm going to reach out to SPW. Anyone that I think, hey, while you're here, maybe you could also work at this promotion, right? Um, Try to get the most bang for the buck, right? If I'm going to get a guy for free, I want you to also get a guy for free, or I want Ugly to get a guy for free, or Samurai to get a guy for free, right? Somebody that's just looking to network, make some connections, work with some people that they've never worked with, because I think that that's super important, right? Working with people that you've never worked with before. I don't know how many times I've done that where I thought how great of an experience it is, right? You get to lock up and call a match with somebody that you're not familiar with. Maybe they're gonna, and we've talked about this in prior episodes. Someone's going to call something a little bit differently than you are, and you have to adapt on the fly, which I think is just such like an exhilarating thing where you're just like you got to make it happen in your head just that quickly, trying to figure out what they're calling and decipher it and things like that. So I think that that's really cool. So these guys come out. They are super humble, obviously trained the right way, and they come out and they have a great match. They get over, and then I get them hooked up with SPW the next day, and I just contacted SPW and said, hey, these guys are flying themselves out from Wisconsin, and can they get on your show? And normally that's not a big deal. They're going to have a bunch of matches. And so I ended up wrestling these guys at SPW, which is pretty cool. But then they got shit for the way that they went about marketing themselves with the promo, with the resume on the back. So that's why I want to know what your take on that is, because someone gave them a hard time, like, oh, you're marking out for yourself. You're handing me a promo picture with a resume on it. And it's like,
What we
how
used
else?
to.
Right. It's like
We
how
used
else are you gonna get your? It's like giving someone a business card, right? Right. This is my business card, except it's 8 inches by 10 inches instead of you know 1.5 by 3 inches or whatever. So I mean, I like that. I like that they were prepared. That hey, we're going to go to another promotion. We're going to hand out our stuff. We're going to make some connections, and hopefully, we're going to come back. And they came back for us. They came back and worked in Winnemucca 2 years ago for us. So that was something that I really, really appreciated. And if you don't mind, humor me one more time. Somebody else that came and worked on another show was a guy that was from here, went to New York, trained, and was coming back to visit family. And I kind of gave him the same thing, like, listen, man, I can't pay you, I can't fly you here. And he was like, hey, it's all good. I just want to come and see family, and I want them to be able to see me wrestle. He sent me some film also. I looked at it and I said, hey, man, this is my critiques on it. Like, I can't really tell if you're the babyface or a heel. Do you think, good body, obviously moves around well, sells well, all the things you look for. But I just thought the psychology was off. I just didn't think maybe he was green. Maybe he could work with you or Boyce or Luster or Adam. Like, maybe he could get in there with somebody that had more experience. So I asked him that question: do you need me to put you in there with somebody that can kind of lead you? And he said, I don't think I need that. But if you're watching my video and that's what you think I need, I'm all for it. Put me in there with whoever. I'm 100% want to learn, see how you guys do it there. So that guy ended up coming, and he drew hundreds of dollars in extra ticket sales that I would have never had. So he was compensated accordingly. So those are my two good experiences. What
This
about
guy
you?
was from New York and drew you. What? How did he sell the tickets?
So he was from this area, and he had moved to
Oh,
New York. So it was his family.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, you know,
That's how Lainey Luck was when she came in from Chicago. The crazy part about it
yeah,
was, that was the one girl I loved bringing in because I go, hey, what time's your flight drop in at the airport? And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. My sister and my mom and dad and all my nieces and nephews, they live in Yuba City. And I'm like, what are the odds that this girl that I'm trying to book from Chicago, her family lives in Yuba City? So they would all buy tickets to the show, which shout out to you, Lainey Luck, because she was just an awesome person to work with. And she would, pay for the flight. She'd come in, her family would pick her up because this is when she got to see her family. So she loved coming out here. And then her family, when they go 7, 8, 10 of them, they buy tickets. So pretty much the flight or the payout that I'm going to pay her, she's bringing the customer in. So we're technically knock the flight off if you want for her. And then after the show, she would want to get paid and like, hey, can I get paid? And is it okay if I leave early so I can go out and have dinner with my family and stuff? And then she'd stay with her family and they'd take her back to the airport. Probably one of the easiest bookings in the world for me. And she was very talented on the show. So you do, like you just said, this person sold some tickets for you. Am I interested in booking somebody just to give them a chance? I mean, I can, but the way we run our operation here, I'm always looking to use talent that I can build up and that's going to be more consistent and reliable to me. But I mean, then there was Maya World, as we're talking about women's wrestling today. Then there was Maya World, who, when I had gone to Texas and with Rick, and we had worked a show there, and a DFW is what they were called, out of Dallas in Fort Worth. And I watched her and this Leonis girl. And I was like, wow. I was like, dude, these girls are good. Like, it was actually it was really good psychological storytelling with these two young girls. And I tried to get them both here, but I ended up getting Maya here. And she's just blowing up everywhere right now. But there are talents that you will see. Well, that's why I just want to watch the video. Cool, 8x10. How tall are you? How much you weigh? I want to watch the video real quick because I might see something in the video that I go, damn, that dude is entertaining. What a character. Great look, man. That guy can really go in the ring. And then I want you here. I want to fly you in. I want to spend that money on a flight to bring you in because I feel like if I can get you here 5, 6, whatever times a year for my big shows, that you're going to contribute. Am I going to be able to get video footage sent from you that I can give to Doc and Dennis? And can I get them to these guys? Can you get me my stuff? Because I want to be able to promote you. So if you're coming from somewhere else, are you going to be able to turn that phone sideways, give me some voice clips, and just send me some stuff so my team has something to work with so I can build you up? I'm willing to put in the time with somebody if I feel they're entertaining or they got something. I'm willing to put in time with somebody from out of state or somewhere else if they can send me some stuff so I can promote you. Because if I can't promote you, then I just got some random guy on the show that wanted some work. We just prospects coming up. There was a guy, I forget the kid's name, real humble kid. He's actually going to be there. And I think he's from San Diego, and he was training with SPW. I think his last name is Mathis or Matthias. I don't want to get his name wrong or offend anybody out there, but I think he's wrestled for Ugly too. But real good body, a good looking kid. I watched his work. I was like, he's really good, but I need to figure out what show I can put him on because he's so big and so athletic that you got to watch who you put him in the ring with on the show. Because is it believable that maybe this guy who's younger and a lot smaller could actually beat this guy? And then you're defamating his progress and where he goes the first time they seen him. So I'm like, hey, man, you never know. Someone might not show up on Friday at Prospects, but you got your gear. You wanted to help set up. Take some photos, take some stock footage, do some interviews. We'll already have that stuff on file so that when you do come back around from San Diego and you're back in the area, because I think his family lives in Grass Valley, was what he was saying. Now we have headshots and waist and full bodies, and we have your We have stock video footage of you we can use, and we have some interviews already basic interviews already in the can. Now I can promote you, man. So you give me the go and say when you're coming back to the area, and I've already got stuff in the can that I can use to promote you, so that it makes it more meaningful why I'm going to use you on my show. So that booking stuff, man, that is that's a catch-22 everywhere, because it's, and I don't, each their own. You like the resume on the back, and I think, hell, if you're gonna send the resume, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, why did you do this? But I'm just saying, me personally, I don't want to read all that. I just want to see I want to show me you. Let me see you play. Let me show me that right there. You're either funny or you're not funny when we're doing comedy. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and then there's the aspect though, Paul, because we're already damn halfway through this thing. So we're
Right.
talking about positives. We'll get back to, and I know you're
Well,
a big
and I'm gonna
proponent. Tell
let
me
me
the
add one
negative
more positive. Let me add one more
before we
positive
go negative. All right, okay.
before we take the dive. Um, I think another reason that I potentially like you telling me who you're trained by is because you know how it is with the wrestling business. It's 6 degrees of separation, right? So maybe I don't know who you were trained by, but I might know somebody who knows who you're trained by, or you might mention something on, like these guys mentioned Brian Cage, the tag team. They mentioned Brian Cage, um, and I asked Brian about them, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're great kids. They listen well, all this stuff." So sometimes I think getting a little bit of extra information, um, it might be a little bit of insight on, is this person going to be good in my locker room as well? Like, tell me what type
Agreed.
of person they are. Are they going to come and they think their shit doesn't stink, um, or is it going to be somebody who's humble, right? And that's the type of people I want. I want the people that are going to be humble. I want someone that's going to come into my locker room and root for other guys, ask people, hey, can you watch my match? Give me some feedback, or maybe even pull someone aside and say, hey, man, what I noticed in your match was this. Maybe they can offer something. Maybe they're bringing something to the table. That they can be another you or me or voice, or someone that's got some experience in the locker room that can go, hey, what I would do here is maybe not this, but this. So
I agree. I
definitely. But
agree with
so
that. I agree with that 100%. You make a great
sure,
point right there. There's those dogs out there barking, and I don't want to get caught with the people online that love animals. But here I go. No, I agree with that 100%. But also, that's why I like to have phone conversations with people, and I do a lot of
absolutely.
video calls. I do that stuff because it's not that hard to read if somebody's a piece of shit, or if they really think highly of themselves and stuff like that. So I like to communicate with people and see how they communicate. If I can't communicate with you, if I can't, it's like a relationship. If I'm on a dating website and I'm scanning that thing over to the right because I like you, oh, I don't like you, I'm scanning to the left, and we start talking, man, we could have the greatest text conversations of all time. But then I call you on the phone and you got a voice that just sounds like nails on the chalkboard, or you can't hold a conversation. I don't want to talk to someone on the phone, and I don't want to be like, all right, here's a topic like we do. We pick a topic and we just start talking, because we're just communicating and having a genuine conversation. So I do want to know that. I want to talk to you on the phone, and I want to know, like, I want to hear your voice. I want to know what you're talking about. And then when we're done with that, I want to hit that play button, and I want to see what you got, because I want to see what you got. I'm running this promotion. I'm the ultimate decision at the end if I'm going to use you or not. So I want to see it, and then I want to send if I'm thinking about it, I want to send your match around to a few people, and see what some of the students think, see what some of the other guys think of what's going on. So there are a lot of positives in getting booked, man. But that video, you know what I mean? Send me that video. Okay, they want to stop barking the second I get up, and the second I sit down, they're going to start barking again. But Yeah, send me that video and let me hit play on that. That's what I want to see. I want to know how tall you are. I want to know how much you weigh. You making an amazing point right there that I kind of was beating around, and thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, if you know Brian Cage, if you know somebody that we know, let's give that person a text or a little shout out and say, hey, what do you think of this guy? And
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, what about some negatives, man?
Uh,
Oh,
there's
there.
there's a lot of negatives, man. So I would probably start off with the maybe some of the negatives is you're going to go, hey, I'm looking to work for your promotion. I saw some stuff online. I like what you're doing. But then they're gonna, hey, I need you to fly me from this place. This is how much you need to pay me to be booked, and I need a hotel while I'm there, right? And it's like we haven't even had any type of conversation. We haven't had any, there's no back and forth at all. I haven't talked to you at all. You're just going to reach out and go, hey, I want to work for you, but you need to pay me this much, and you need to fly me, and you need to this, list of demands.
Who
And it
are
brings
you?
me back to back in the, like when I remember when I was first training. There was someone who came into our wrestling school and was talking to Brian, and hey, I'm from this area, but I went to this state and trained, and same type of thing. Let me pat myself on the back by telling you, I wrestled AJ Styles and I wrestled, all of these people, and then he proceeds to give Brian this like almost like a list of demands. This
Hmm.
is how much you need to pay me. Um, I want to work with this guy, and I want to beat him for the title. Then I want to work with this guy in the this championship match, and I want to have a ladder match. And the only way that I tap out is the way that Stone Cold Steve Austin did in the Sharpshooter. Like I don't, my character doesn't give up, and it's like, dude, come on, man. Like, just you're going to give me this laundry list of
I don't know
demands
about
of
that.
things that I have to do for you, but you're soliciting me trying to get work. Like, why don't you come in and go, hey, this is my character. I'd like to work for you. Do you have anything for me? Right. And it might be something that fits right into your booking where you go, hey, you know what? I am looking for, this guy that's, 26 years old and balding with a big pot belly. And that's the exact character I'm looking for. And you fit that role. And I think we could slide you right in the card. But, uh, I mean, there's definitely that's one example I can think of, but
What about the
uh,
trolls? What about the internet troll booking way?
right,
Those are my
yeah,
favorite.
like, hey, I'm gonna
Any
try to get some
comment?
buzz, right? Let's I'm going to try to get some buzz by trolling your social media, or challenging your champion for a title shot on a show that you already see that they're booked on, wrestling someone else. It's just, I don't think it's the right way to go about things. I think that there's people that we've thought about for this podcast, like, hey, I think this person could contribute, but it's like it's a big red flag. They start doing things like that, where
Just
um,
dipshits.
yeah, instead of just contacting you and say, hey, I think I've got something to offer, right? Whether it's your wrestling show, whether it's this podcast, whether it's a job, reaching out and saying, hey, I think I've got something to offer is the better way to go about it. But, instead you have some people that are like almost trying to force their way in, like, hey, this is what you need to do. Hey, if you want to have me on your podcast, you got to pay me. And I was like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? So what about you? What type of examples do you have about maybe the wrong way to go about getting booked somewhere?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have come into the promotion and they've been here before, and maybe they've before, or they've gone, they've left, and I've always left everything up. You get the trolls, man. You get the trolls in the comments. And, I used to have students, and if you say their name 3 times fast, they pop up like Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Because they're watching and we see what they say. But you get these situations where you try to coach these students. And I can think of many students and people that aren't here anymore where I say, hey, don't go online. Don't go on social media. Don't post negativity. Don't comment. If you have a problem with somebody, you have to speak to them personally. If you think that they need to call you or you need to call them or what, this is independent professional wrestling, right? We don't owe nobody nothing because we ain't paying you. It says it right there in the name. And these guys have no problem going, I'm an independent contractor. Okay, well, cool. I'm an independent promoter. You're not drawing me any fucking money. So I don't owe you anything. And if we have a disagreement, I have the choice. It's my God given right to say, hey, I don't want to deal with this person. I'm going to move on with my life and I'm not going to deal with someone that's giving me a headache, whether they think they're giving me a headache or not. And when you troll, when you comment, when you post stuff out there, and we had talked about this right before we started the podcast, some people think that if they go online and they go, hey, I did this for you. I do this for this wrestling community. I'm the man. I'm going to tell you something first. If you're the negative part of this is if you're out there telling everybody how fucking good you are, okay? If you're out there telling everybody that you are the greatest professional wrestler and every contribution you've made to this business, and I'm a dipshit for not using you, and this goes for anybody, there's a good chance that if you're telling yourself that you're the toughest guy in the world, you're probably not the toughest guy in the world. You know who I don't want to fuck with in my town? I don't want to fuck with the guy that runs around and says, you don't know who you're fucking with. You don't know who I am. No, I don't care either. I'm worried about the guy that somebody else I respect goes, hey man, you don't want to fuck with that guy because that's a bad dude right there. I'm going to believe that hype. I'm going to believe the hype in someone when they go, man, you got to get Big Paul on your show. Guy can work. He's humble. He promotes. He does whatever you ask him to do. That Paul is good, man. Paul is good. That's the best big guy in the game right now. And you start hearing it other places. And I don't run around and tell people I'm the best. I don't. And if somebody thinks that I'm the best, it's because they said it. I'm not going to say it. So when you go on these comments and you see these people post where they say fuck you or fuck this or whatever, cool, man. I'm glad you said it online and you didn't say it to my face or whatever, but I don't give a shit because I don't care. I'm off doing my own thing in life. I have other things to worry about. But you are a promoter. You know me. You're gonna read that. John's a promoter. He's going to read that. Ugly's a promoter. He's going to read that. Gabe Ramirez is a promoter. He's going to, you know what I mean? Like there's so many, we're so connected with so many people here. We're so connected with people across the United States and in AEW and WWE and all this stuff that if you are going online to bash somebody or tell somebody how good you are and how shit they are, every promoter is going to see that. And what's a promoter going to think? They're going to go, that guy's just giving this other promoter, just bagging on this other promoter's promotion, just whining. And the promoter's not coming on and saying anything, but these people are just, I'm the greatest professional wrestler to ever lace up my boots, and you wouldn't do nothing without me. I'm challenging all your champions for the title. Every promoter is going to go, all right, let's move this loser over here and not deal with him. So that's the first biggest negative one right there is like, because I've seen it here lately. It's just guys, and I've dealt with guys in my own company for long periods of time where it's just like, oh, I'm so good, I'm so great, why am I not getting this? How dare you disrespect me? And it's like, dude, get the fuck over yourself. Nobody cares. Go work hard, prove me wrong or prove yourself right, whatever you want to do. So that's the big one right there, is going online and crying, complaining, and putting down another promoter or their company, because then you're gonna call me if they put you down. Me and you are gonna talk, and I'm gonna go, ah, man, that guy's a problem. Why would I
Right.
want to do him? And if they're gonna do that to me, or they're gonna do that to Gabe, or they're gonna do that to Ugly or Samurai, whatever they're gonna do, it's such a small community. Wrestling really is across the United States, man. It's such a small community. Is like shit. Keita Murray was on the East Coast, and he came here and he walked into my training facility when it was the work farm, and he stayed for 6 to 8 months. And me and him built a great relationship. But he wrestles on the East Coast, and now he's in Southern California, and he's popping up on him. He's popping up on a lot of stuff now. And I still talk to Keita, but when he can come work for me, he can. But we still have an occasional conversation. And hey, man, thanks for showing me how to really slow this down and shit. Well, guess what? If Keita needs a flight, if Keita needs a place to stay, a motel, if Keita needs a little extra money for the gas and his fee is a little higher than I would normally say I'm willing to pay, I'm going to compromise and I'm going to pay it because I think he deserves it, man. And so we talk about that. I really think the worst way to go about this business is to disrespect somebody that you want to work for. And they don't think they're disrespecting them. They think they're like, I'm rebellious. I'm going to say what I want to say and do what I want to do. But yeah, how many bookings do you got?
Right. Or
How many you
putting
got?
themselves over, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you just talked about how you would just go, hey, not worth my time, right? I'm not going to respond to that. Somebody's talking shit about you online, you just ignore it, right? You don't let it bother you because just like you said, it's going to be, I see somebody talking shit about you, saying something that I know is not true, um, and other people are also probably seeing the same thing. They go, oh man, I know Zach and that's not him. And so you start looking at these people and you go, like, who the hell is this guy? Like, what are they talking about? Why are they talking bad about this person who I know is not that way, or things like that. So, how bad does that make people look? They're bagging on somebody that everyone else has a ton of respect for. Just to you think that there's got to be some sort of insecurity there, right?
Well, for sure.
Where you're not confident in yourself, so now you want to, just like you said, if you're really as good as you think you are at doing something, you don't have to tell anybody. I remember Adam telling me that all the time. He's like, listen, man, I don't have to tell people how good I am because Zach's going to tell him that, Lester's going to tell him that, Gabe's going to tell him that, Ugly's going to tell him that, I'm going to tell him, hey, who's really good is this guy, right? So if you're really as good as you think you are, you don't have to go around there telling people how good you are because other people are going to do that for you.
Your
And I think
body of
that
work.
that's just, what was that?
Your body of work. Like,
Of course.
where
Yeah.
have you
Your
worked?
body of work speaks for yourself.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't have to tell people, hey, this is I'm a draw for your company. You'll know, like, hey, they draw for this guy. They'll draw, they draw for this guy. If this person is on a flyer, fans are going to show up because they want to watch this person perform. You know, um, and I do think it's funny how you were talking to Randy about the kind of the, I don't know, I don't know what you'd want to call it, but how you said, like, um, the women wrestlers, how you love to have them on the card, and they bring something to the table, but a lot of times it doesn't translate into ticket sales. It
Yeah.
doesn't translate into, filling up your building. But on the back end, when your production happens, and your production team puts together these matches, the views on that product really spike. I think that's a really good indicator of you bring someone in and there's some sort of value to that, right? So um, you know I think that that's something that people have to keep in mind when you're looking to get booked. What type of value do I bring to this promotion that I'm looking to get booked at, right?
And I had
Am
to
I
give
going to
them
bring
one
in
of
more
them.
fans? Am I going to help um, you know raise the level of work rate? Am I going to be someone that can talk people into the building? Like, what is my um, how am I going to benefit this company? I think that's the way um, I like to think about, like, bringing someone in. Like, how do they benefit my bottom line? How do I make money off of this person? Do you think that's true or what?
Oh, I just that the little spinny things keep coming on. So like you'll be like pause
Oh,
for a
nice.
second, then it spins. Man, just don't be a fucking douchebag, man. Don't be a headache. Like
Right.
there shouldn't be complaining problems. So like one thing that gets me is like, okay, here it is. Don't be trolling on. Don't be, hey, homie, don't you be trolling online. You know what I mean? Like just stay in your lane. Quit commenting on shit. Quit trying to start shit online. Everybody reads it. You look like a fucking dumbass if you do it. Just gonna throw it out there. That's the bottom line. I promote my wrestling. I don't go online and tell people that I'm eating at Denny's. I don't go online and say fuck these guys or whatever. If you know I eat at Denny's, because you probably were eating at Denny's with me. If I
Right.
think
Or I got a promotion at Target.
yeah, if I want to say
Your
fuck you to
favorite.
someone, if I want to say fuck you to someone or I got a problem, I'll say fuck you to that person or I got a problem. If I don't care and I don't have a problem, I'm just not going to talk to you. No big deal. It's a small world. We're not making enough money. So your complaint is too much of a complaint. How about, oh, you sell sponsorships or whatever you do. Well, as a business, I'm gonna give you 20% of your sponsorship. I'm gonna give you 20% of your sponsorship as an employee that's working for me because that is all I can give you off of that as a write-off for my taxes. Here's a little out there. So I'm going to give you 20% of whatever you make for me, whatever, because that's my write-off. And then that 20% that you've been given, I'm filing that as my write-off. So that 20% you got, I'm going to go ahead and you're going to have to file that 20% of whatever you made because you're going to have to give that to Uncle Sam and the government. So if you're going to sit here and you're going to talk business wise about something, this is what I get out of a lot of guys. I'm not making enough money or I deserve more. Okay. Well, do you want to make more than $600 a year? Because if you do, then I'm going to 1099 your ass and you can go ahead and file those taxes on your end. So they take your 20% and you're my write off. Uh, or do you want to make less than $600 a year? And if you do, that's cool. And we can pay you some cash and we can do this under the table and you can get out of here. So what I'm saying is don't be a problem. Don't be like, cool, yeah, we have this idea. We want to put a belt on you. But the main idea is this is the guy that we're planning on running with. And don't be cool with the booking. And then when you get what you want, complain about where you got to go from here. Don't be cool with yeah, you're going to run this, you're going to do this for me and then start hounding somebody about some more money. Don't go online and tell everybody how good you are. Don't be a troll and a menace online. So that's my number one thing. Is somebody trying to take too much money out of my pocket and my company's pocket? Is somebody trying to take too much credit for what's going on? Does somebody think they're better than they really are? Does somebody think I really can't continue to run this mom and pop shop promotion without them? Because if they really think that, then they need to go sit down with a psychiatrist and they need to talk about a lot more than professional wrestling. Because, buddy, no matter who you are in this business, if you ain't drawing the house and you ain't paying my bills, then it's really not that big a deal. You can just go somewhere else. So that egotistical thing is that's the first thing that's going to draw me away from you and wanting to book you in the negative side. The other thing is, we talked about it at the start of the program. It goes from a positive, it goes from a negative, and I just had this problem. And I specifically told this a wrestler had sent me something saying, "Hey, I want to work for you," and he just happened to be a lucha wrestler. And I said, "Cool. Can you send me a match of baby heel? I just want to see that you can work American style." And they proceeded to tell me that they could work American style. And I said, just send me a 5-minute match, man, one-on-one, not outside at a festival or on the side of somebody's pizza parlor or tattoo shop. Just, just please, I'm telling you, you're giving me a headache. I'm telling you, even though you're giving me a headache, what I want you to do, give me a 5-minute fucking match. And they're not doing it. They're sending me these stupid, long, gimmicky matches. And I'm like, okay, all right. So now I'm gonna be like, okay, can I at least see what kind of, can you send me a photo? Sure. They're in a tent taking photos of themselves and they got a cut off t-shirt on top of it. And I'm like, man, can I get a professional photo? Can I get something where you don't have a cut off t-shirt with a Nike logo or whatever on top of because you got gear. Let me see the gear, bro. And then they send me a bunch of photos and they're posing with other wrestlers that I might know, like fan photos. So don't be a douchebag. If I see you online and I see you bashing other companies or just whining and crying about shit, I'm gonna go ahead and you're on my no flight list right there. That's number one. Number two, if I ask you for a picture that I can use on a match graphic or a flyer, and then I ask you for just a simple fucking video so I can watch your wrestling, and you continue to tell me and harass me, is basically what I'm going to call this. You harass me telling me, oh, I can do this, I can do that. If you don't have the footage, if you don't have a professional photo, then guess what? You ain't much of a professional wrestler and you're already giving me a headache. And that's what I like about this prospects thing with these young kids. A lot of these guys don't have good photos, but they're young, they're humble, they're actually excited for the opportunity to stand in front of Brandon Johnson and get photos and get the opportunities to build a package and have some better stuff out there. So if like I said, if you're just a D-bag that's going online and you're trolling people's pages and telling everyone how great you are, there's probably a reason why you're consistently not working and nobody wants to work with you. And if I ask you for something, if you ask me for a booking, hey, what do I need to get booked? Oh, send me a match, good guy versus a bad guy, less than 10 minutes with a good finish. And just send me a photo so I can see I got something to use. And then you send it to me. And it's not what I have asked from you. So I ask you again, and I'm a little more specific, and you don't do it. I got to quit talking to you, man, because I'm talking
Right.
I'm talking to a wall right now. You know what I mean? It's like we can't have this conversation. So I want to talk to him on the phone. Positives. I want to talk to you on the phone to see your vibe. I want to see your 8x10, like a photo, a profile pic of you. I want to know your height and weight, and I want to watch a little bit of your match. And I'm cool off of that right there. You said it. If we know
Right.
somebody, perfect. And then on the negative
Right.
back end of it, oh my god, trolling, man.
Totally. Yeah. So I'll I'm gonna throw a little love over to our buddy Randy, right? So you talked about, uh, and I just asked a guy this, that sent me, hey, I want to come out and work for you, right? Hey, send me a match, right? Send me something. I want to see something recent, right? So you got the guy like Randy that's gonna get your match, that's going to get it up online really quickly and give you the opportunity to send that straight to a promoter, right? And I think it also ties into another topic that we had, about telling somebody no, right? Telling a promoter no, because you want to show what you can do in a one-on-one setting. So I think all of these things can tie in together, right? If you can be working at a promotion and you can say, hey, I'm just trying to get a one-on-one match. I want to have something that I can send out to promoters. I know Randy's going to be in the crowd. He's going to record this match and it's going to get up online real quick, or I can send it out. I think that these are a lot of things that you can kind of put together, right? Let me work a guy one on one. Let me show you what I can do. Not only does that show the promoter that you're working for, um, things that you can do, but it's an opportunity to get something on film. Now I can do what you're asking. Hey, I can send Primetime, Paul, anyone who I'm looking to work for. I can send them the 5 to 7 minute match that they're looking for. I can really try to do a great job working babyface or heel. I can make sure that there's a good solid finish, right? I can do all of the criteria that I'm asked to send, um, in a way to get booked. So I think all of those things, go hand in hand as far as getting a booking. And like you said, man, all of these, the negativity online, you think you're being funny, you think you're being, um, you know, putting yourself over, telling people how good you are at something. But in the end, it just makes you look like a complete idiot. So
Moron.
we got we got 3 minutes.
Well,
Like what
when
they said.
when I look at it like this, man, and you just said it, just making yourself look like a dipshit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Uh, we are not making this. We're not making rapper money over here. We're not making OnlyFans money over here. I'm not a professional basketball player, man. You know, all this drama and all these issues I've had in 25 years, and everybody at the end of the day, myself included, we're still alive. We seem to be okay. This is a learning experience, and we don't have to have so much politics and so much backstabbing and all this stuff in professional wrestling, because it's like, hey, man, nobody really cares. And what I mean by that is nobody really cares. If you want to burn a friendship with somebody over something that's not paying you any money and we could just have fun at and work towards a goal to just make it better, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But it's not that big of a deal. And that's what I would tell these young guys is, man, just be happy, just show up, put in the work. If I'm going to be a dentist or a doctor or anything, I'm going to have to go pay to go to school, right? And that's what we do in wrestling. We pay to have somebody train us. And because I pay to have somebody train me, when I'm done paying for my training, I now am looking for a place who's going to pay me. Well, there's not a lot of places in independent wrestling that are going to pay you full time. So this is part of what we say is the apprenticeship. You are working under somebody so that eventually over time, one of these bigger companies are going to be able to pick you up. And whether we diss on AEW or not, at least there's a billionaire son out there who got $500 million of inheritance money, but he's found TV and he's very passionate about it. And you have another place that you can get paid well to make a living. So my advice out here to the young guys on this topic, and I'm not speaking to anybody specifically, I'm just saying, don't be a douchebag. Enjoy the fact and that you get to go out there and you get to have fun and do what you love to do, whether it's a hobby on the weekend or you get to do it full time. Just be blessed you're not paralyzed, blessed that you're still here. You have family that loves you. And remember, at the end of the day, guys, no matter how passionate about this are or how much we love it, life goes on.
Exactly. So our next episode, man, we get to talk with somebody that I know that we both have a ton of respect for, and I know I'm super excited about this conversation. But next episode is going to be Adam Thornstowe. So
The trendsetter, the
so it's
rock
going to be
legend scum.
yeah, it's going to. I think it's going to be a blast. I think it's going to be something special. So
He's
you
one of
know,
my favorite, man. He's up there top 5 of all time. Like, I've never told him that because, you know, we rapidly compete in the world of professional wrestling. But I mean, that's one of the guys that made me better just because he's right there in the same area and on the same card. And you're like, man, I gotta outdo Adam Thornstowe. And I had my stuff and he had his stuff, and some of his stuff that he did was my stuff, and it was better than me doing it. So he kept me on my toes. He made me stay in shape, and I can't wait for that one too, Paul. I'm excited about that one.
Sounds good, man. Well, as we're getting to the end here, like I say, click on past or previous episodes, future episodes, and keep watching, man, because you know what we're doing, man. We're going over.
In the comment section, I'm going to troll you tonight, Paul, while you're sleeping, because I'm going over.